It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey there, the Bryce.
And Murray, who I've never seen in the same place as Mark Wahlberg. I will let you draw your own conclusions. Hey there, Merman.
The mystery evolves.
But I have seen Murray without his shirt on.
There you go.
That you have.
So with the
lucky one.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Let's do that.
I kind of want to do this episode with our shirts off. Well, thanks to all who've been listening and supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/filmrageYYC. All members get special episodes and content only for members, and all members that sign up will get a limited edition Film Rage merch item. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. A real terrible film. Thanks to all our listeners. We love you very dearly, and we would not be doing this if we didn't have at least one, which we do. So thank you.
Whoever you are.
Whoever's listening right now, you are our listener.
All right.
Movies are back at Canyon Meadows Cinemas. We are open for your viewing pleasure with great new films opening weekly. All health-regulated protocols are in effect for a safe and enjoyable experience. And don't forget, we should be your first choice for your next birthday party or special event. Can't make it to the cinema? We got you covered. Order concessions from our online store, and you can either choose curbside pickup or get them delivered via Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, or DoorDash. For more details, go to canyonmeadowscinema.ca. Here at CMC, we would like to thank you for your continued support, and we are looking forward to seeing you at the movies.
That's too bad we don't have video. You should see what these two guys are doing.
We will have video soon. Trust me when I say we will.
All right, let's dance.
Oh, yes. Because you know what? We've been streaming. We've been doing what?
Streaming, Jim.
And even Marie did some streaming on the weekend.
It's not as creepy as Jim.
Nothing's as creepy as Jim.
You can say that again. All right, so streaming, you say?
Streaming I did, and so did the Mur.
Let's start with that juggernaut of a platform known as Netflix.
Dumb?
No, it's da-dum.
Oh, right. You're the only one that does it well. You're like the Police Academy sound effects guy on our podcast.
Just like him. Anyways, we saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It has been 48 years since the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and now we finally get the sequel. Apparently, a la Halloween, we were supposed to forget the existence of the other two sequels of the original, and I've already forgotten about the remakes, except for the 2003 one starring Jessica Biel and directed by Marcus Nispel. That was one of the rare remakes that was worth making.
Fabulous.
In this one, we get the lone survivor Sally of the original facing off with Leatherface, although not
not
played
really
by the
her.
same person.
Exactly.
It's disappointing, but it's still the character Sally. That was at least the concept, and the concept had me looking forward to this one.
Yes.
However, that is not really what we got. Sally's introduced, and the build-up to the confrontation is handled well enough, but the showdown is way too rushed and underwhelming. There are decent enough performances, and the effects are good, especially the gore, which seems to be mainly practical. There are many good scenes, but the original concept of a showdown between Sally and Leatherface ends up being anticlimactic. Still, I like much of this, kinda, including the ending. I did dig the ending, I really did. I just wish they would have made a more focused film. Still, this is a bloody good time, which makes it a meh.
All right. Well, did we need this movie? That is ultimately the question. And the answer is no.
Answer is always no.
With an
Me too.
asterisk. If it was made properly and the original concept and they followed through with it and they did it right.
If it was Halloween 3, then which we don't know is going to be good yet. Everything's holding out on Halloween
You mean
3.
Halloween Ends?
Yeah, that one. The real 3. That's not the 3 because the 3 wasn't the 3, but this is the 3. So, yeah, anyway, we did not need this. Not sure taking the Confederate flag down and just leaving it on the ground would have happened the way it did in the film, which kind of annoyed me right from the very beginning. And this is just one of many, many, many things in this film that made no sense. So right near the beginning, they show a scene that is pretty counter also to the characters' anal tendencies that they had shown of this particular person. I'm not going to tell you who or what, but there's just so many conflicting. It's not even that much character development because people start dying. But it was completely annoying for the most part. So I'm not super impressed that our young new breed of characters, if you want to call them that, who are already proving annoying, and also proving that they weren't very good right from the start. The gore, as perhaps Bryce was alluding to, FX was great and super practical. Suspense was good. Love seeing Olwen, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Fure, back in another horror film. Y'all might remember her, who's playing the new Sandy, but she was also in Mandy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, she was the mother from Mandy. And she's awesome in that and in this. I know this is supposed to take place in the future of the original, but going from the original, which I actually literally watched moments before I watched this one, it didn't help it at all. Let's just put it that way. It was not a good transition at all. I'm not sure if either one of you did the same thing.
It's half a decade's gone by, though.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong.
Half a decade.
Watching Leatherface work his magic
I mean,
is...
half a century.
Yeah, not a half a decade. Thanks, Murray. It was 50 years.
I got you on that one.
It was 50
smart.
years, not 5.
Yes, 50 years. Half a century is what I meant to say.
Yes. So don't get me wrong. Watching Leatherface work his magic is always
Totally going to edit that
especially
part
fun. No, you won't.
out. No, I won't.
No. Well, whatever. 5, 50. Does it really matter? He's basically taking his love out on douchey people. But as I mentioned, I'd watched the original. And then transitioning to this was just like going from dancing in the dirt in the road with a chainsaw at the end of the first one to living in an orphanage in this one made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I could connect the dots.
Yeah, it was no. I don't like the convenient sequel horror flicks in general for no reason, and this is no exception. There just needed to make this a brand new film with a psycho who kills a bunch of yuppie assholes, but don't soil the good name of Texas Chainsaw. Horror was fun. The film was a rage. So the horror was fun, and the film was a rage, which would usually average it out to a meh, I'm thinking. Or perhaps I'm being a little bit generous. Now, what I need to say, now that I'm officially a bus driver, is there wasn't anybody that did a pre-check on this bus, which really annoyed me. So right away, if they would have, you would have known that the emergency exits were not working. I'm just saying.
Because it was a party bus.
Yeah. They still need to get out in an emergency, like perhaps a chainsaw wielding maniac. Plus, I don't know if this is like super juice chainsaw Leatherface, because he outruns 20-year-olds. He's faster than speeding bullets. Yep. He lifts old ladies with one hand with his chainsaw, and he's over 70. I'm thinking he's got to be close to 80. I don't know very many 80-year-olds that don't really work out. And he apparently hasn't killed anybody in 50 years, which I have no belief whatsoever that would not happen. You can't be...
He's a totally different guy. He's not the same guy. No, it can't be the same guy.
The early 70s.
It's an 80-year-old Leatherface running...
70s.
Yeah, no. This was the dumbest idea for a movie I'd ever seen.
Nah.
If they made it a period piece and made it, as Bryce was hoping, 5 years later, then it might have actually been pretty good. On second thought, this movie was dumb, and no matter how good the gore was, which it was very good,
It was.
watching the original really destroyed any chance of this being any good. This was a rage, and I've got a few things to unpack. But Murray, what did you think of this turd?
Well, actually, I feel pretty much the opposite that you did.
Did you see the original though?
I have gone 49 years without having seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Yes.
I was okay with that. Then these guys put the new version on the list, and I was encouraged to see the original.
Nice.
Since it was streaming for free on Tubi,
Nice.
I took a chance.
Nice.
End result,
Yes.
rage.
For the first one? For the
Rage
original?
at how bad this film was.
What?
How
It was so
completely moronic
brilliant.
all young people in the movie were. The lack of violence in this classic.
Oh, it was so
Mostly,
creepy.
I was in full rage mode at the fact that the iconic Leatherface was an inbred half-wit with the maturity of a 6-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about disappointed.
That's what it was.
You wanted it to be like a
I wanted
Rhodes
to be
Scholar?
like Jason, Freddy, those guys were at least intellectual.
Were they?
Well, okay, maybe
Not
Maybe not
really.
Jason.
Not
Maybe not
Michael
Jason,
either.
but the
He
other
was-
guy. But Freddy
Michael was a serial killer at age 6.
At least
so-
they had 2 brains in there. This is like
Freddy.
I was totally disappointed with that.
Wow.
Okay.
So I didn't have a lot of expectations for the new one.
And
About 30 minutes in, I was ready to turn it off.
I wish I had turned it off.
Then it
after
got
3
interesting.
minutes.
One thing I can say for the new Leatherface, at least he had motivation.
Did he?
If a bunch of yuppie liberal, what's the word the rednecks use? Snowflakes
Nice.
came into my house, tried to buy my town and turn it into some kind of trendy hotspot, I'd probably reach for my chainsaw too. Plus, they killed his mom or whoever.
Yeah,
Well,
the whoever
he
is
didn't
really what
kill
it is.
his mom. It was
Well, whoever she was,
circumstances
but he-
dictated.
He still blamed them.
He blamed them
He
all.
blamed them, but
So he had motivation, like I said. I still can't believe the blonde bimbo from the first movie was the same tough as nails old lady sheriff in this one.
It technically wasn't.
No, it was the same actress, wasn't it?
No,
No.
it
I
wasn't.
thought it was.
No, we
it's
talked
the same
about
character.
that. 5 years later, it wasn't.
Could have been.
Could
Same
have been
age.
5 years
Same
later.
age.
48 years
It
later.
was the same age. Anyway,
A little more than half a decade.
same character anyway. But yeah, I didn't like her in the first one. Like now she's all of a sudden she's like tough and she's like ready to kick Leatherface ass. Like,
Really? Because she didn't do much.
That's the problem. I dug her, but the way they built up her character,
Yes!
and then she got
Yeah.
there. and
I
it's
want
like,
her to
what?
kick ass and punch dicks.
I know.
Anyway, I actually found myself enjoying this film, especially
Wow.
the bus scene.
The bus scene is the best thing in the movie.
Bus scene's good.
My favorite line: "Don't try anything, man, or you'll be canceled." Before he gets a chainsaw in the gut.
Nice.
I can't believe I'm actually saying this about a horror film, but it was pretty darn close to a Mondo.
Pretty close, but not
Still
quite.
a high math though, and
Fair
I
enough.
enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than the original.
Wow. That's saying
that's
something.
an interesting take.
Yeah. Considering that when the
Considering
original came out.
and considering the original, I think if it wasn't my favorite, it was in my top 3.
Yeah, it's got to be one of my top.
I've been hearing for years how good it was, and then I watched it,
But
and I'm
so
like,
so
give
Murray,
me a
but
break.
here's the thing, right? You've now gone 50 years without seeing, or however many years it is,
Well,
48
40,
apparently.
49, whatever. I'm
You've
only
gone
50 years
that
old
long
now.
without seeing it. You've seen a lot of other really good horror movies.
Yeah.
When that movie came out, there was nothing that was that horrific. Like the fact that they had cannibals at the dinner table.
Yeah,
It's
that
the
whole
it's the
family just
level.
annoyed me.
But that's
and
that's
the
what
Dinner
made it more
table
horrific.
Scene with
Young
the
people-
hammer is
young-
like one of
With
my
the
favorite
grandpa?
scenes.
Oh, yeah.
The
That
young
is the
people annoyed
best.
me.
It's
the
classic.
The guy in the wheelchair. I wanted them all to die. Like
Yes.
there wasn't a single character in that movie that I
Yes,
wanted to live.
that's that. But the get yourself inside the headspace of people seeing this movie for the first time who'd never seen anything like that.
Yes,
it was
but
mind blowing,
It
and it
was.
still is because I rewatched it.
As horror movie killers go, Leatherface was a big disappointment for me.
Yeah. Well, this one was for me because there were so many things that were
at
stupid.
least
Like the
this
way
one-
they
this-
transitioned that movie to this movie was awful.
At least
it
this one,
made
this
no
one was
sense.
a little more Jason-like, where he's just killing everybody just for killing it. But I mean, he's just ruthless. Whereas
He had-
but the original was just It was I can't use the R word, but he was an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I really.
Well, they were all pretty much idiots.
I really hated the original. Like I really did.
That's too bad.
That is.
Anyway.
That is saying something.
Yeah.
So we got 1 rage and 2 mez. Almost a meh. If the gore was maybe the entire movie, then maybe I would have liked it.
The gore was good.
Yeah. It was
And then
just,
him playing peekaboo in the fucking cornfield was also stupid.
I like the peekaboo in the
I did too.
cornfield. I
Give
like
me
that
a
scene. I
break.
like
I did
this.
too.
Plus, it ended up with him cutting off the face and becoming Leatherface again
Yeah.
and transforming because
Right. So for 48 years or half a decade.
I still don't see how it's the same guy.
He didn't kill anybody.
he was what-
He was
Yes.
put into an orphanage as an adult male.
Yeah, because he was in.
because he wasn't surrounded by his idiot family
You don't-
encouraging him.
I'm sorry.
constantly.
As an adult male, they're going to put him in an orphanage.
Yeah.
So someone's
Yeah.
going to No, that's not what happens
He's
with
not
adult
in an
people.
orphanage.
It was an orphanage.
I understand that,
Yes,
but
it
he was
was.
helping out with the orphanage.
Oh right.
He was the hand.
Yeah, and he never
He's-
lost his shit once and didn't kill anybody.
He's like in his 70s, still hoping someone will adopt him.
Yes.
Jim.
And his chainsaw, which had been stuck behind a wall for 50 years.
Right. So there was no reason.
Comes to life,
I mean,
full of gas.
no one
Hey.
dances
You know
a
what,
jig
Jim?
in
You're
the.
starting to
in
make
the-
me rage. So
Good,
let's just
because the movie was
I'll-
terrible.
let's move
Other
on.
than the gore, it was fantastic.
let's move on to something that actually deserves a rage. Oh, did I say that?
Deserves a
What?
rage.
It's going to be a mondo. What
Is
are you
it?
talking about?
Well,
you say?
you tell me what
Maybe.
you thought there, Jim.
Why don't I?
We saw a movie on Shudder.
Bum, bum.
Dum dum.
That's better.
Dum,
That's the money. That's the money. They live in the gray
That they do.
with Claire.
Hmm.
While she's investigating a child abuse case, because she does that as a job. Shit happens, man.
But you missed the punchline.
It gets cray.
She sees dead people.
She does see dead people. First of note, diversity in this film was great. So I've got to say kudos to the producers for their film ethnicity diversity.
All right, so we got
But next-
one good thing to say about it. and
That's right.
Gotta be it.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. No, there isn't. There's nothing else.
But wait, hold on. The good gets diminished here pretty quickly. Get it right, though, because they didn't have an LGBTQ cast member, which they should have. They had enough characters. So they get marks against them for that. The music was canned, but done, I thought, really well. So the music, although it was canned, I think the way that it built with the suspense in the film, I did like it.
No.
I didn't listen to the music and become wowed, but the sound of the music added to the feel of the film on a positive note.
Really?
The FX are mostly great.
Are they?
Yes. And also mostly practical. So I was enjoying that.
Okay.
From the hanging to the throat slash to the wrist slash to the supper knife stabbing. I was super impressed with almost all the makeup and effects. So far, I'm impressed with those things.
I'm gonna just go in for one. It was
Go.
definitely the throat slash. Is that we saw 2 of them
Yes.
this weekend?
Yes.
Definitely the better of the 2.
Yes. Yes. I wish we saw a lot more
The other
throat
one
slash.
was in a movie called Uncharted, which we'll be talking
Yes,
about later.
we will.
Is there a throat slash in that?
Oh yeah, there is.
I don't remember that.
Now, well, I try to remember not a lot of that movie, but that's coming up. Peripherally.
Peripherally.
Say that 5 times fast.
Peripherally.
He's so talented. He's a linguist, a cunning linguist. He
Does
is.
it all.
The acting was fairly strong.
Was
Although
it?
I had some issues with our lead, Michelle Krusek.
I should hope you had some issues.
Yeah. Claire, as she would be good a few times and other times she was not good at all. I have a belief in horror films. If, like in the Amityville Horror, the house says, get out of the house, then get the fuck out of the house. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And then if an evil spirit is fucking with your kid, guess what? Also, get out of the fucking house.
Okay.
I liked a lot of the perspective shots in this film.
You keep on saying like in your review.
I know, but
I
I'm
don't
not.
understand.
I'm not talking about the movie.
Okay.
So far, I'm talking about the production values.
Which were not good.
They were actually not bad. I like the suspense at times. I like the jump scares and the evil atmosphere of the film. What I wasn't as fond of
Yes.
was the downtime. I'm not 100% sure, really, but I'm thinking it must have been because the dialogue and the interactions of the characters didn't feel real at all through the entire movie. So I kind of like the horror bits in this, similar to what I did with the horror bits in the movie we just talked about. But I don't think it needed to be 2 hours long. This was way too long. This film was so long.
This didn't mean to be 2 minutes long.
I enjoyed some of the gore. I enjoyed some of the atmosphere.
Keep on saying enjoy.
Yeah.
You didn't.
But I
You
did.
couldn't have.
I did. But I didn't enjoy the story. The story was bad.
Oh,
So I'm not going to rage on it as much as you. It was a low meh for me because I like ghost stories. So I liked it.
What say
I got stuff to unpack. Let's face that.
I
actually hope so.
I also enjoy ghost stories. But I really loved the better version of this. I believe they called it The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Yes, it was definitely heavily influenced.
I
Almost
see
ripped off.
Dead people.
Yes.
Sound familiar? Well, this was no Sixth Sense. Gray, the most boring and neutral color in the spectrum,
It is pretty good.
pretty much sums up this film. Lead actress was underwhelming.
To say the least.
I get
think
it.
we're all in agreement
Her
there.
character went through the death of her child, and now she's all melancholy. And it sure brought down the mood of the film, that's for sure. Supporting cast wasn't that great either. I actually had hope for this film since I do enjoy a good ghost story. Pacing was too slow. Scary scenes were too far and few between. And the storyline was all over the place. And to Jim's point, this movie was so long. In fact, it took me 3 tries to get through it.
Nice.
And I kept checking the running time so I would know how close it was to being over.
That's a bad sign, Mark.
The end reveal wasn't all that surprising, and the happy ending was Hollywood cliched at the best.
This is coming from Murray. He loved Hollywood cliche endings.
Like the color gray, this film was just meh.
I was being generous too.
Everybody is like super generous with this.
You
film.
just gave that terrible
Yeah.
chainsaw movie
It
a
was
meh.
bad.
No,
I
it
enjoyed
was
that
awful.
one.
It was the worst.
Me and Murray both
If
liked
I
it.
had never seen the original, I
Well,
would
me
have
and
loved it even more.
Now tell us what you thought of this, Mr. Lover of Ghost Stories.
I
know how much you love ghost stories.
have figured it out. You know what I figured it out?
What?
What I
Ghost
figured
stories?
out?
What?
If Shudder brings in a film from outside of North America, there's about a
It's
90% chance I will love it and
Yes.
a 10% chance I'm not. If the film was made in North America, like They Live in the Gray,
Yep.
there's about a 10% chance I will love it and a 90% chance that I will not.
I love the math there.
Yeah, this film does not buck that trend as it was produced in North America and it was bad. The acting was subpar and it looked generic. I did not like the soundtrack and I thought every scene looked very bland and uninspired. And here's the thing. If the ghost could actually get physically involved, which I was not aware this is possible, why did it not just intervene itself earlier before all these people were harmed? Was the ghost just lazy and then finally decided,
Yes.
I guess maybe I should do something and then finally got physically involved? That doesn't make sense. The ghost is able to physically stop what is happening, but she doesn't until the end of the movie. How convenient. I don't get that. The movie was so bad anyways, and then the absolute thing that wraps it all up
Yeah.
makes even less sense. It's so stupid because there wasn't something that all of a sudden it could just get involved.
Yeah.
It's not like something happened.
Yeah, it was
just
from
all
the
of a sudden-
beginning of the movie. You're moving along with the story that the ghosts are doing things.
Doing things, but they can't
Yeah.
physically grab someone, physically break their arm or whatever that silliness happened.
It's the ghost crackling. I like to say the ghost crackling.
Ghost
crackling's awesome.
You can't defend that.
I like ghost crackling.
That alone makes this a rage. You can't sit there and defend a movie. It makes no sense.
Okay, so
Explain it to me. How can that possibly happen? This was a
I-
rage. This was a rage.
I
This
can
was
tell-
a rage.
I can
This
tell it was a
movie was a rage.
I love it.
It was awful.
I didn't love the movie.
This was garbage.
It was low meh.
No, it wasn't.
I
it
liked
was
I liked some of the effects. And the music, I agree. The music itself is very canned, but how they used it in the movie to build the suspense, I thought they did it well.
What suspense?
There was ghost suspense.
No, there was no suspense.
With crackling.
It was.
Didn't I not mention there was ghost crackling?
There was ghosty suspense.
And there was ghost crackling.
And a twist ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, the twist is all of a sudden ghosts can just physically break people's legs and arms.
was
With
the- that
crackling.
was the whole movie.
Don't forget crackling.
And made that woman stab herself.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was fun.
no, I don't remember any ghosts actually having any kind of abilities like that in Sixth Sense.
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, it's a different story, sort of.
I watch a lot of ghost stories. Most ghosts can't actually do anything.
And this ghost that can do this, like, why didn't they just do it earlier? We didn't have to sit through 2 hours of
to
garbage.
involve what's her name. There you go.
Yeah, but then there wasn't the ghost crackling.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. What's a ghost crackling?
They had the part where the person's kind of possessed, and then the ghosts make their crackling thing. Some crackling.
Anyways, this was
Even
garbage.
broke every bone in their body.
Yeah, something like that.
I hated this movie.
I liked it more than I did Texas Chainsaw.
They Live in the Gray was garbage.
They lived in the garbage.
Rage.
No, you can't do that. I didn't give it a rage, and he doesn't get. He doesn't get.
That's just.
That's just making fun of him. Okay, that's
It's not making fun of it. It's just. This was so awful. Awful.
Okay, I got you.
and who picked
It was almost as bad as the Texas Chainsaw remake.
No.
Almost.
Yeah. That's,
If I hadn't seen the original, anyway, let's just move on. Apparently, we're never going to agree on those two movies ever. Let's hope they never make sequels to either of them.
Well, there was a crap load of movies in the cinema this
We
weekend.
did see a lot in the cinema. Did you see The Cursed?
I did.
Well, why don't you tell us all about it?
Oh yeah, I'm up first, I guess.
You
Okay,
are.
then.
Spank you very much.
All right. Yes, we had a nice little double feature on a Friday afternoon, which was surprisingly full of kids. So they must have been home from
Creepy
school.
little fuckers.
Yeah. The Cursed, original title 8 for Silver.
That's a better title, though.
It is a better
In
title.
19th century France,
Love France.
a mysterious, possibly supernatural menace threatens a small village. John McBride, good French name there,
Yep.
pathologist, comes to town to investigate the danger and exercise some of his own demons in the process.
Demons are fun.
You know what I hate?
What do you hate, Murray?
What do you hate, Murray?
I hate movies that start in a certain time period,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
do a really good job
Right,
setting the mood
yeah.
of the film,
Yep.
get you
With
into
you
it.
so far, yeah.
Then they jump back about 20 or 30 years and start a whole new story.
Yeah.
I'm like, takes me right out of the film. In this case, it caused me to try for most of the film to try and figure out who the hell the guy was from the first scene, because the rest of the movie was basically about a bunch of kids. I also don't believe it was set in France.
It
Since
was.
every single actor spoke in British accents, and the farmland
Yep.
looked a lot like the England that I've been to.
If you're pretending you're French and making a movie so you don't have to put it in French, and you
That
live
was
in Britain, then you're going to hear
that
the
was
French
BS.
accents
Should have
as
French
British.
actors.
Makes
French
sense
actors
to me.
subtitled. Then I would have believed it better.
Well, it should. I
Anyway,
always believe they should make
According
movies.
to IMDb, it was actually shot in France.
Nice.
Still bothers
Because
me.
it takes place in France.
I actually enjoy a good werewolf movie.
Who doesn't?
In that respect, this one didn't disappoint.
Oh,
Creature effects were great, although apparently they were CG instead of makeup.
they looked good, though.
I thought they were actually makeup, but they weren't. The blood and gore was quite gruesome. Story was actually quite compelling.
Yes.
Takeaway from the film is don't mess with gypsies.
Yeah, don't fuck with gypsies, man.
Ever.
That's good advice for anybody.
It wasn't bad. Just a meh.
Okay.
All right.
Let's kind of went in a whole. We were like on a roller coaster ride there for a while.
I thought we were going.
I think we were going
to
deep
Rage
dark.
Town.
I thought we were going deep
That
dark
was the
into
only
Rage
thing I
Town.
had a problem with was the setting, because I still don't
Okay.
believe it was in France.
All right. Well,
You give me some French-speaking people, I'll believe it's in France.
all right, Mr. Holland. What do you have to say?
Yeah, don't even do that because they might be listening.
All right.
They might be listening.
They, the ghosts.
So The Cursed was another spin on the werewolf tale, very effectively shot with care and an eeriness that permeates every frame. It is beautiful and brutal all at the same time. The shock of the first 10 minutes as hands and feet are chopped off in order to turn a guy into a scarecrow give way to an effectively told tale of gypsy curses and unknown entities. I like the originality of a tale that has been told in many different ways to varying degree of success. This version treated the material very seriously and felt genuine, as we understood every character's motivations right down to the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Who, even though she was attacked, she feared for her job and continued to work.
Just like COVID.
Poor Nanette.
Yeah, I tell ya. This was a
Murray.
This was a gorgeously executed bit of cinema. It was an original vision of a tired tale, but it breathed new life into it. The Cursed was Mondo.
Oh, there you have it. Finally, well, still nothing. Anyway, curses at the best of time are usually awful, be them every month or by Stephen King, except when it comes to gypsy curses. Then dial me in. This film was amazingly shot. And when I say amazingly shot, I mean amazingly shot.
Preaching to the choir.
Very atmospheric. The entire film takes on a real dreadful feel as everything is shot in gray and dark tones. This, coupled with the music, which was so brilliantly done, both from an original score side to how it was built, this, comparable to our other shitstorm that we talked about earlier, which used canned music, this was unique and original and fit perfect inside every single frame.
True.
Has a real great and fresh spin on the original, as we've already talked about. And so much detail went into this film. Little tiny details that you would think only historians may notice, but so well done. From the candles to the weapons to there's a scene where they blast the werewolf and they got to reload their weapon because they're using 1800s technology. Torch racks. Everything in this was so well done. And Bryce and I are often sticklers for detail. There was not a detail out of place in this movie. From the costumes to the scenery to the props to the entire feel, you think you're in 1800s France. And Murray, it was in France, so there you have it. The whole gypsy and land claims really touches on modern day topics, as we currently have that same issue going on with our indigenous people today. So fantastic the way they built that into an original story.
Oh yeah,
there is
scene where the white guy basically kills all the gypsies because they're on his land.
Yeah, even though they had land rights to it. So there is so much very good in this film and very, very little bad. The makeup and most of the practical effects are great, although when they were bad, they were really bad. They also do a good job of hiding the creature for most of it. The creatures are basically the worst part of any FX whenever you have it. It's always tough to make a really good creature, so I kind of like the fact that the creature wasn't in your face a lot. It only brought itself out, a few times. So we can't fault them for that. It's actually builds the suspense way much better. I wish that creatures and CGI and practical effects could somehow meld better, but we're not there in our universe right now, unfortunately. If you thought 1918 was good, you need to see what 1917 is like. Because the opening of this movie was so bloody good. I really love this movie. Yes, there was a few missteps overall, but the real great horror period piece, it's a Mondo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love this film. I don't know, werewolves are not one that I mean, there's been some iconic werewolf films over the years, right? Like American Werewolf or Wolfen, or there's good stuff, but there hasn't really been a resurgence of werewolves lately. I mean, they kind of pop up every once in a while, but they're usually just boring.
They tend to be, and a lot of them are played for laughs these days.
I kind of enjoyed the use of them in the Underworld series.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's more of a cheesy. That's
that's
more of an action.
They weren't the dominant species, but they were, at least they had personality.
Yeah, but I look at Underworld as not a horror movie. This was a true horror movie that with a creature feature. Underworld is like superhero action critters.
Yeah, I guess.
Really, you got vampires and werewolves making out and doing
Stuff.
ghostly stuff to each other.
Still on werewolves.
Then I do other stuff.
And then other stuff, but it's not really, there's no horror involved. It's kind of like, whatever. Have some sex and breed some more vampire werewolf children. Yeah, this was so good. I
I loved it.
was blown away.
Yeah, it was. I honestly, I didn't even want to see this. I was like, oh, for crying out loud, another stupid.
Well,
But
you didn't like the commercial that had the trailer that
Yeah,
had
I
those
was like,
creepy
that's
looking
gonna be-
teeth. You're kind of
yeah,
like,
it's like, that's
that's
gonna be
dumb. Look at
dumb.
those
This is
teeth.
gonna be
Look at
terrible.
those teeth are dumb.
I thought that this was going to be so bad, and I'm like 10 minutes in, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, basically.
and then it just got better.
Yeah, they were basically dentures made out of pure silver
Yeah.
Yeah,
that the kid puts in his mouth.
for the 8 pieces that was
8
originally
pieces.
paid.
Yeah.
We're not going to give any spoilers. Go see this
that's as far
movie.
as we're going with that,
Go
but
see
yeah.
this.
It is excellent.
Even Murray gave it a meh.
There you go. All right.
Now, the winner, chicken dinner of the weekend.
For crying out loud.
Plug
All
your
right,
ears, everybody.
so-
It's gonna get loud.
If we thought the rage for the ghost story got bad, you ain't heard nothing yet.
It's just,
He has yet begun to rage.
how do you know how I felt about this movie?
Because we heard about it 3 seconds after we left.
Oh, really? I couldn't.
Well, and the fact that you left the theater, like I've seen, I want to
was-
say,
he was
I've probably
shaking.
seen 500 movies with you in cinemas, and
Yeah.
I would say I've never seen you leave the cinema while a movie's playing.
Before the
you
credits were
left
done.
3 times in this
Before
movie.
the credits were done.
3 times.
Yeah,
you
still
left.
4. I counted. They were 4 times he got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I must have missed that part. Yeah, 4 times.
It's a good thing we're on the
Really?
ground level and not the top.
Yeah. Anyway, so the crap fest that we're talking about is Uncharted.
Yes, we are.
Uncharted is a movie based on a video game. It cements the fact that Tom Holland is overrated as an actor, and I hope that he fades away after this initial bit of popularity he has going on right now. Mark Wahlberg seemed to have potential early on in his career, but he's getting to the point that I have no interest in anything he does. So, we have a video game movie with one overrated actor and another that has overstayed his welcome, combined with Antonio Banderas, who plays the same character in every English-speaking role he does these days.
Yes.
I noticed that.
And don't forget the bad CGI, and the improbable physics, and the bad dialogue, and the pure stupidity of every concept in this movie.
And the pirate ships in midair, that was the
Oh,
best.
for crying out loud. And don't forget about the scene where someone gets their throat slashed and they don't bleed. They die, and it looks like a Sharpie line along their
Oh,
neck
okay.
without any blood.
Now I remember, okay.
It is beyond silly. It starts dumb and then progressively gets worse and more ridiculous as the movie rolls along. I could get into the helicopter scene and the plane scene and the countless other scenes that will leave you wondering why this movie exists, but I'm going to cut this short because I don't want my blood pressure to go through the roof and I keep on talking about it. I'm going to just lose it. I'm just going to tell you, don't go to this crap fest. Uncharted was a rage.
Oh, snap. This is a surprise to all of us listening.
Yeah, not really.
Well, here's my take on it. Tom Holland, he's so hot right now.
So dreamy.
So hot right now.
It's terrible.
So this version of a video game was so spectacular, I had to run out and buy a PlayStation because I want to replay this movie again and again. Every game is a win, where I feel so connected to these marvelous characters, so well developed in this film. Well, that's what they were wanting us to think, wasn't it? Wasn't that why this movie was made?
Yeah,
was
but-
this movie not made so that you watch this movie if you don't have a PlayStation and say, I want to buy a PlayStation because this movie was so great, I want to continually play this movie.
Problem is, Jim, you're not 12 years old.
But isn't this why this movie?
I guess that's why they made it.
I don't know why they made it.
Yeah.
I'll
So
explain the 200 teenagers in there in the audience behind us, I guess.
I think they made it to just piss me off.
probably. But if this is the reason they made this movie, then you've done your job. I'm sorry, I'm lying.
Yes.
They did the job of making a movie so bad that I would never, ever, ever buy a PlayStation. If there was a chance of me possibly seeing anything ever related to this movie ever again, PlayStation game, movie, ew. Now, let me just list a few things that were awful in this movie, which Bryce has already mentioned some already.
Yes.
The dialogue.
Ugh.
The fact that it's a video game movie.
Ugh.
The sewer grate scene.
Ugh.
First entire half of the movie.
Ugh.
The second entire half of the movie. The fact that there is no chemistry between any character in the entire movie. The idiocy of every single scene. The fact that the quote-unquote mystery was so easy to solve, it was like they were solving a puzzle on a beginner level of a video game. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Everything was rushed to an ultimate conclusion that took 2 hours to get to an obvious finish. If they meant to get out nostalgia for all the Goonie fans from the past, well, they did a terrible job because mostly, and I think this is probably the only reason, because I was a pretty big Goonies fan, they didn't have a sloth character. So that reason alone would be destroying this film. Perhaps if Sloth was in it, maybe this movie did have a chance. But for that reason, and every other one listed above, this movie and the PlayStation brand are a rage.
Hey, Mur.
Yeah, okay, this was bad.
Oh, what? You said you were going to love this movie.
I was looking forward to it. I hate to admit these guys were right.
What?
I hate
Wait,
it
this has never
almost
happened.
as much as they did. I actually enjoy these types of films.
Yeah, you've said
National
that.
Treasure, Tomb Raider, Indiana Jones, The Mummy. I enjoy
I like The
those
Mummy.
swashbuckling type of
The original.
treasure hunting adventure types. I mean, I like those movies.
The one from the 30s.
I like Brendan Fraser.
Even the one
No.
from my man Ryan Reynolds,
Nice.
Red Notice, which was basically the exact same movie as this.
That one was awful.
This movie tried to be one of those, and it failed miserably. To quote another review, if less is more, Uncharted must be a masterpiece. It's bloodless, heartless, joyless, sexless, and with one tiny exception, charmless. The exception is Tom Holland, who is a big box office draw. Sorry, Bryce, but he is.
He's terrible.
He's not a good actor, though.
What the hell is he doing in this? Well, money, obviously. Yeah, it was a rage.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, hit it, Murray. This is like
That's the
this is the
trifecta.
happiest day of my life right now. That we all agreed on one movie that
This movie was really getting its PG on, too. I mean,
Yeah,
it was...
Yeah.
well, like I said,
The fact that they slashed someone's throat and it really,
was no
literally,
blood,
there was
yeah.
no blood at all. And
Well-
they showed it, and it literally looked like someone drew a line across his neck with a Sharpie.
Yeah.
It was like...
Can we talk about the adventure of them finding whatever the first fucking clue was? Like, I'm sorry, they're wandering through, which country was it? Italy or some stupid
I don't know,
country?
they're all the same.
I don't mean that, our Italian listeners, but what doesn't matter where this movie was,
might
it was
have
going to
been
be
Spain.
stupid.
I don't remember.
Spain, maybe, yeah, with Antonio
it was
Banderas'
Spain.
Spanish accent. It was like the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
They have like the sewer grate. I had to bring it up because it was so annoying. It's like, I'm sorry, there is like a hidden treasure beneath the
no.
city, which you can basically just look down a sewer grate.
well, yeah, no. Basically, this tunnel to this whatever this treasure is supposed to be at starts in the back of a church.
Yeah.
So they find the entrance to that, no problem.
But no one's been able
and
to
they
go
go
in
through
there.
this whole tunnel thing, and at the end is this huge, I believe they call it an antechamber, and above it is a sewer grate that you can see from the street down.
Yeah.
All these huge, massive, I think they were urns or whatever.
Maybe
they
he
were, but
couldn't
like,
see them, but the fact that
maybe.
they exist, that there's a so if this is a sewer grate, it's
someone-
going to be filled with
someone
water.
put sewer
It's
sewer
just
system in there and
Somebody
never
might
saw
take
it.
a look at some point.
yeah, but
Yeah.
no one's found
Anyway.
this for 1,400
It is just one of
years.
many
What?
ridiculous things
It
in
was
this movie.
it was one ridiculous thing after the other. But okay, so I know we're all adults, so it's probably not fair to ask, but would this not turn you off PlayStation for the rest of your life? Like if Sony said, like now I would buy an
Well,
Xbox isn't.
It depends on if you played the game.
Yeah, this would be
Like, just judging by the audience, like this, we saw this at 3:00 on a Friday afternoon. Granted, before a long weekend, and we were basically like near the front row, and Before the movie, by the time the movie started, I counted at least 100 teenagers, like right out
Teenage
of
boys,
from
mostly.
high school, mostly boys, but some girls. But 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, so obviously they didn't have school. But this was obviously catered to them.
Yeah.
Because it's Tom Holland from frickin' Spider-Man, and they thought that he'd draw all the teenagers in, which is exactly what they did. But yeah, there was no plot. It was stupid.
But you know what the worst thing about it was? And you heard me complaining during the movie. Not once did Mark Wahlberg
I was about to
take
say,
his shirt off.
Wahlberg never took his shirt off.
And he does in every single
And
movie.
Tom Holland did.
Who cares?
Well, apparently people who are fans of Mark Wahlberg's beautiful
Exactly.
ribbed abs.
It's Marky Mark.
And his ribby abs.
He'll always be Marky Mark.
Yeah, can we stop talking about this movie?
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's talk about another movie that is also bad.
Literally a dog.
We're going to talk about a dog.
We are.
Well, luckily for me, or unluckily, we had a storm over the weekend where temperatures dropped to the 0 - 30 range Celsius and a ton of snow. So I decided it wasn't worth getting out of bed for. So
And you would have been dead wrong, Murray.
I declined to join these two.
You would have been dead wrong.
So they can talk about it.
Because I've got to say that Channing Tatum did a pretty great job in this dramatic comedy.
Let's not forget.
wrong.
And
he also directed it too.
I have never been a fan of his, really, but he impressed me in his role. I got to say, I actually liked him in this role.
Yep.
Well, at least a few dramatic scenes of him in this film. This film was exactly the same as I thought it was going to be. The funniest parts were in the trailer, and there was no surprise to the script / movie that you would find that isn't in the trailer. So I suggest you watch the trailer, save your $15, and if you feel you need to watch it, wait till it comes out on VOD. This movie was predictable and not funny, and it's actually titled a comedy, but it is not a comedy.
It's not a comedy.
But it's titled a comedy.
I don't care.
It says comedy,
So what?
and the commercial was some funny things.
There was.
So
there?
they're advertising you to go see
I
a
didn't watch
comedy,
apparently, I didn't
Bryce.
watch the commercial. No.
So who titled it a comedy then, Bryce?
I don't know how the heck you could think that this was a comedy going in if
it-
you had any knowledge of what it
Well,
was
the
about.
trailer made it look funny.
Did it?
Yes.
I don't know. I
Go
didn't
watch
see
the
the
trailer
trailer.
again. Well, it was, but it was not funny.
Whatever. I don't know why you're harping on this.
I'm saying that the trailer was better than the movie. I think if I had taken this,
How could you expect this to be a comedy though?
I don't know, because it was looking like it was a comedy from the trailer. And
Whatever.
when you look it up on IMDb, it says comedy,
Yeah,
not drama, not war veterans.
Yeah, and IMDb never gets it wrong, Jim.
Never, Bryce. Never. Ever.
I think that was one of your rages one week, is how IMDb gets everything wrong. So,
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
don't
then
know what you're talking
they make
about.
a trailer that
Anyways,
leads you to
continue
believe
your
it's a
review.
comedy,
It's not a
and then it's a comedy in the IMDb page. What are people supposed to think if they look at the trailer and look it up on IMDb? I'm telling you right now, it's not a trailer. Bryce thinks it's obvious to everybody that it wasn't a comedy, and it's not.
Right.
I think if they had taken this story and just made it into a powerful drama,
Yes.
it had hope of perhaps being an okay or even good movie.
Yes.
But the story of Tatum going on a buddy road movie with a dog,
Not as good.
doing idiotic things like trying to get laid or pretending he's blind to get free stuff, ruined all hope of that from the moment one of this film. The levity injected in this film, plus the fact it's a cookie cutter buddy road trip movie, makes this exactly what I predicted when I saw the trailer. I wish all I had seen was the trailer, and it was pretty much exactly what you'd expect when you watch the trailer.
I don't know why you've said trailer 900 times.
I had
in
to
this
watch
review.
the trailer stretched out for a full feature. It gets a trailer, rage.
There you go.
Okay.
There was a point to the number of times
Just
that I said trailer.
Just stop saying trailer.
I made some delicious grilled cheese sandwiches.
Is that in the movie?
Oh, it's Tom Green.
Oh, okay then.
All right. Dog. This
Trailer.
This This was actually a hard concept to mess up, but they managed to. The story of two Army Rangers, one human and one canine, working through their shared trauma together as they embark on a road trip is pretty much slam dunk. Yeah, it's a familiar formula, but it's also an effective one, as we get a mismatched couple that learn over the course of the film that they need each other. Aww. There are scenes sprinkled throughout the movie that are loyal to this concept, but there are other scenes that play like a goofy comedy that had me wondering why. I genuinely liked much of the film, but by the end, I should have cared more about Briggs and Lulu. I did not care as much because all the nonsense that permeates too much of the runtime. I will also say, based on this performance, I hope Channing Tatum gets some more serious roles, as the silly crap he has been pumping out is starting to wear a little thin. And he's got potential.
I think
he shows it.
This movie shows it in this, for sure.
This film should have been better, but it was still okay.
What?
It was a mess.
Oh, Bryce, you're a...
It had a puppy dog in it.
You are...
He's a cute dog. I like the dog.
I'm sorry. He's giving out rages to things that aren't really rageful. And then he's giving out mess like candy to everything else.
Lulu. I like Lulu. I like the scene with Kevin Nash and,
wrestler?
Yeah, Kevin Nash is in it.
But, the thing is, here's the thing, Bryce. We just have to continue to bring this up. Yeah. You can watch a completely fantastic movie, and then 5 minutes at the end, and it can ruin the entire movie. But this entire movie was awful, with a couple of scenes that were good, and you're gonna forgive them for that just because you like dogs.
There's 4 or 5 scenes in the movie that need to go.
I think if you're saying
they need to
4
absolutely
or 5,
go.
The whole plot concept of it needs to go.
But there were also some very, very good scenes in the movie.
There was some good scenes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make the movie.
And there's some choices that were made that I wish were not made. And there
like
were other
90% of the
situations
choices
where I'm like, okay, this situation's fine, but it needs to not be a comedy. and I said that many times in my head throughout this movie. There were many scenes where I'm like, I'm actually okay with this scene if it wasn't played for laughs. And there was too much.
Really, you were okay with him trying to get laid when he's trying to get his job back and he's responsible for another.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was having problems with his whole arc in the story made no sense, and
that's why it was mad.
No, this movie is terrible. Please don't see this movie. Just watch the trailer and you've seen it.
I really like.
Just like Marry Me, which he gave out a meh to last week too.
I liked Lulu.
You just need to see the trailers of these things and you can know.
Lulu's adorable.
This coming week.
She's such a good dog.
Lulu, the army dog.
Yes.
Who the hell would name their dog Lulu if it's going to snip up bombs and stuff?
I like.
It's going to tear people's flesh from their bones, Murray. And if I wanted to have my bones ripped apart,
Lulu?
I would want to be ripped apart by Lulu.
No.
Yeah. All right, from there.
Yeah, we went to another movie, which Murray didn't get to see.
No, because of the snow.
Oh, you didn't go?
Out of the 5 movies on our list this weekend,
it was a lot.
It was the only one that I was looking forward to because it is
Norwegian,
nominated for an Oscar, and it's from Norway.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But lucky for me, I checked the listings, and it's playing for another week, so I plan on seeing it.
Well, you can check our website and find out what Murray thought of it in a week or so.
There you go.
But we're going to tell you what we thought about it right flipping now.
Well, I think you're going to glow about it for the whole
7 hours.
So I'll just mine will be short and to the point, and then you can wax poetic for 30 minutes about it.
I'm going to wax on, wax off, brother.
So, richly developed... I guess I should tell them what we're talking about.
We're talking about...
the worst person in the world.
Yes, we are.
All right, richly developed characters combined with an honest glimpse of life with all its emotional struggles, with love and finding one's place in the world, anchors this solid effort from director Joachim Trier. The film's cast is solid with star-making performances from Renate Rentsev and Anders Danielsen Lee as Huli and Askell. The movie picks up steam as it rolls along, and by the end, we are connected to all the major players. It is a roller coaster ride of emotion with the highs and lows, as well as a few corkscrews.
Yes.
It also tackles loss, whether that be love lost or loved one lost. It is a bit exhausting to watch, and that is a good thing. We as the audience are really dragged through the muck of Hooley's emotions, both good and bad. There are also many beautiful shots, as this film is quite pretty to look at. This film was Mondo.
Thank freaking God. I'd have to slap you if you gave this anything. If you gave Dog Man, then you gave this. I'd have to slap you. All right, so let's talk about Channing Tatum and why he wasn't in this movie. That's really what I want to know.
Norwegian?
It doesn't matter.
I think Channing Tatum would have been fine.
He would have played well in this. So through this entire film, I either had a sly, small smile or a brow that was furrowed. The characters are real and deep and memorable. The story develops so slowly, it allows you to absorb every character on every level of their complexity, each one defined with precision and fullness, so much that they are overwhelming at times. Our lead is truly the worst person in the world at times. And others, way less narcissistic. But that just proves the true realness of who she is. I stand by my words as we sat in the theaters. I'm glad I saw this on a huge IMAX-like screen to see every emotion in all its glory. The director pulls in influences from a lot of great directors that we all know and love, or we used to love, like Woody Allen or Jean-Pierre Jeunet's earlier films, or even Francois Truffaut's. But this film is very much his own. The humor is subtle at times, and then at other times it slaps you in the face like a dirty tampon. Some of the music I found didn't quite fit the scenes in some of them it was portraying, and I found it interesting that a lot of the music was English language songs, and not all of them were very good. This film, unlike our lead character's life, is not a hot mess. It's a hot character-driven mondo.
Yeah.
This is another one of those films, and I know I've said this a million times. If the characters are developed, it could be the worst movie in the world, and I would still love it. But this is not that case. This movie is fantastic.
Yeah, it's fairly good.
And the characters are, I want to say, Norwegian-tastic. It's like we got a whole bunch of characters just like Murray.
Why don't you just call them Scantastic?
Scan?
But they're Norwegian, so they're Norwegian-tastic.
Scandinavian.
They're Norwegian-tastic. 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 Yeah, this movie's so good.
I liked it a lot.
Yes. And it's funny because we came out of the movie and I couldn't contain myself, and he was like deadpan through the whole ride.
Wow, it's because you're just gushing about it. And don't get me wrong, it was very good. But the way you were just gushing.
It was so good. Like the characters were amazing. Her character, it was so unpredictable. Like
it was very, very good.
Murray, I'm gonna ruin one scene for you.
Don't.
Yes. So her husband is a comic book artist, and they're at a great big opening for him, and she leaves there, and she's going home, so she's walking home, and then there's something that happens that you're like, I never expected that was going to happen. And then it was just like everything from there. It was just like, okay, I have no clue what's going to happen in this movie.
Yeah.
And every single, because there's 12 chapters, a prologue and an epilogue, and every chapter,
kind of like 14 chapters.
Yeah, but one's a prologue and one's an epilogue.
I believe I saw the first few minutes of it.
Yeah, this movie has got to be seen by everybody, and I can see why it was nominated. And perhaps next year it'll be Murray's Murray Film Rage Award. Never know.
Never know. So not out of the realm of possibilities.
All right.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
All right, my rage this week is really quick. We already know what it's going to be. The fact that Sony PlayStation now has a cinema, or whatever they're called, a production studio house of horror.
Yes.
And if it was a house of horror that made good movies, then I would be excited. But I am in fear of my life at seeing movies in cinema moving forward if Sony PlayStation is now in the production of movies.
We got Sony Studios. We got Sega Studios.
Bryce and I had a conversation, Murray, and we still may be keeping this conversation rolling. But I am about had it up to here with the number of movies we're seeing in cinemas that are awful. And I'm really debating on whether or not we change the direction of our podcast and just focus on film festivals, because that's usually where you get the best films.
It's true.
And we will never see, and I am absolutely 100% sure we will never see a Sony PlayStation film in a film festival.
You never know.
And that's my rage this week. Sony PlayStation and their production house thing of movie making shit.
My rage is gym adjacent. I like my rage music.
I know. Well, you picked it.
It does rock out with your cock out for sure.
Yes. All right. My open rage. Real simple. My rage is video game movies and the fact that they continue to exist. They are all crap. I recently saw a list of the 10 best video game movies ever. And while their number one was almost watchable, that would be the first Resident Evil, the list evolved rapidly from there. Video game movies are so bad that Super Mario Bros., Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Assassin's Creed, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Max Payne, Doom, and Double Dragon, yes, Double Dragon, are considered to be among the best video game movies ever made.
Someone
No
stabbed my
Sonic?
If those are the best, how bad are the worst? I guess that list would include Warcraft,
Ask Uwe Boll.
Sonic the Hedgehog, Rampage,
Uncharted.
Need for Speed,
Uncharted.
Hitman, Wing Commander, and now we get to the Uwe Boll crap fest. Postal, Uwe Boll's Blood Rain, Uwe Boll's House of the Dead, Uwe Boll's Alone in the Dark.
Nice.
Man, does he like to make the video game movies.
He did.
And oh yeah, don't forget that stinky pile of excrement that is Uncharted. Please stop making video game movies. It is a proven formula for rage.
It's poopy.
You guys have too much rage.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
War continues to rage across the globe. Our valiant men and women have been winning battles as the war continues to march on. Hollywood continues to produce clone after clone of the films you used to enjoy. There have been some defectors, but most remakes continue to assault your sensibilities. Our small troop of trained experts continue to expose these imposters while showing Hollywood a better way. Support the invasion of the remake by listening, reviewing, and subscribing. Your knowledge is power. We're all in this together. Spread the word.
Subscribe to Invasion of the Remake on all major podcast providers. New episodes dropping weekly.
At invasionoftheremake.wixsite.com/podcast.
Ooh, our boy Sam. We love him so. Oh, this is part 2. Part duh.
No, actually, he's not. I'm taking a
It's
break
not part
from that
duh.
list.
Please don't tell me your top favorite Tom Holland movies.
Best video game movies of all time.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah.
That list is coming, you know.
Oh, please don't ever make that list.
No
Bryce
such
just
thing.
did it.
No.
Bryce literally just did it.
Last weekend, we lost one of Hollywood's great directors. Not to mention Canadian legend, Ivan Reitman. Though born in Czechoslovakia, his family fled to Canada when he was 4. That makes him ours.
Well, his son is ours.
That's also true. He is primarily known as a producer, bringing us classics like Animal House, Stripes, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, Twins, and Space Jam. But his work as a director is actually some of his best. Surprisingly, he only directed 17 feature films on his own. Honorable mention goes to Reitman's second film, 1973, the Canadian horror classic Cannibal Girls.
Yes.
I love that movie.
Obviously shot
best
on a low
movie.
budget in a sleepy Canadian town.
It's
This
awesome.
film is just F-U-N. Features a pre-SCTV cast of
Yep.
Andrea Martin and Eugene Levy. Special cameo by Igor from hilarious House of Frightenstein. Another Canadian classic. The story, a young couple spend the night at an old farmhouse owned by a reverend, only to find out there's also beautiful women who hunger after human flesh.
Delicious.
Yummy. All right, number 5. One of Reitman's first mainstream films, Meatballs. This comedy features Bill Murray in his first starring role and tells the story of a group of summer camp counselors in training. It's timid compared to Animal House, but sets up Reitman's style where a plot doesn't always have to be the main focus.
Say that again.
The story itself is pretty thin, but Reitman knew what he had in Murray and just sits back and lets him do his thing. Before, also with Bill Murray, Stripes, 1981. This film reunited him with Bill Murray and Harold Ramis, who co-wrote Meatballs and Stripes as well. Surrounded him with a solid cast like John Candy, Judd Reinhold, Sean Young, and John Larroquette.
Yep.
This film is reckless and chaotic in the best possible way. But because Reitman trusted his actors, gave them space to improvise many of the final scenes.
Sorry, this is your favorites,
My
right?
favorites.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That's the important part.
Yes.
Next up, we have Twins. Here he takes Arnold Schwarzenegger, the king of R-rated
I like
action
Twins.
films.
Who doesn't like twins?
Makes him the star of a PG comedy. Like, that was absurd that he would even try that.
Yep.
Playing
But
aside
it had Danny DeVito.
comedy
Yes.
veteran Danny DeVito, the chemistry between the actors is pretty special to watch. Not everything works here. Plot's a little flat. Jokes start to wear a little thin. So at
funny.
its core, it's a great buddy movie with a lot of heart. Follow this up with another Schwarzenegger classic, Kindergarten Cop.
So that's number 2?
That was number 3.
Oh.
Not a great film, but it featured one of my favorite Arnold lines ever. It's not a tumor.
Yes.
Not a tumor.
It's not
Number
a tumor.
2 is actually Ghostbusters,
Oh.
the original. It's Reitman's best film, most popular by far.
Oh, God.
Original concept was actually all Dan Aykroyd. He came up with the serious horror picture set in the future, in space.
Nice. That's
Reitman knew it was
where it's
too
going
big,
next.
too expensive. He told Aykroyd that Ghostbusters needed an original origin story.
I hope number 1 isn't Ghostbusters 2.
No. He told Aykroyd that Ghostbusters needed an original. Okay, so reuniting once more with Bill Murray and Harold Ramis made the movie the success that it was. He allowed the audience to get to know the characters first. Many years later, it's not the villains or special effects. It's the Ghostbusters themselves that made this a timeless classic. Number 1, maybe a surprise for you.
It already is a surprise.
Evolution, 2001.
Oh, yeah, he does love that movie.
Is that the David Duchovny one?
Yeah, it
is
is.
David Duchovny. The science fiction comedy brings together David Duchovny, Julianne Moore, Sean William Scott, and Orlando Jones. Written originally as a horror film about alien life being found on a crashed meteorite, Reitman decided to make it into a comedy. He thought of it as a modern-day Ghostbusters. It had 4 unique characters investigating, chasing after something not of this world. That's where the similarity ends.
That's why they cast David Duchovny.
There is a great chemistry
is up.
between the
What is
4
he
leads.
doing these days?
I don't know.
Probably in
care.
rehab for sexual addiction.
Great chemistry between the 4 leads doesn't get lost in the constant action or the whip-fast dialogue and jokes. There's even an appearance from OG Ghostbuster Dan Aykroyd
Wow.
as the mayor of the town. He was able to get perfect comic timing out of these typically dramatic actors like Duchovny and Moore. Not to mention the always funny Orlando Jones. May not win any awards or be on anybody's list of top 10, but it's easily mine. I'll leave you with one of my favorite scenes. Harry, played by Orlando Jones, is about to get a giant bug taken out of his ass. Nurse says, "I'll get the lubricant." Doctor says, "So time for lubricant." Harry, "There's always time for lubricant." After it's done, Dr. Julianne Moore says, "It's over, it's over. You did great. You need anything? Can we get you anything?" "Ice cream. I'd like an ice cream, please." "Okay, what flavor?" "Doesn't matter. It's for my ass."
Spoken like a true ass master.
That's right.
Hmm.
Thank
There's
you.
always time for
Thank you,
lube.
Mr. Reitman, for the laughs.
Luke's overrated.
Eh.
I like it rough.
Rough trade. That's why they call. That's why we call him rough trade off line here.
All right.
Bryce Hollingsworth, rough trade. All Right, so we're talking the lists. I don't know what one you were watching, but to me it was very obvious who won this one.
Was it?
Was to me. The movie's not great.
Movie's terrible.
Yeah. So we had to watch The Wicker Man from 2006.
Yeah.
And we had to decide. I got to have a piece of... Oh, here we go. Did you see this one, Mur?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. All right. Hold on here. Gonna reveal. You got your reveal happening there? Brycey? Okay, he's doing the reveal. 1, 2, 3. You can't pick
Can
neither.
you actually do that?
No, we can't.
I'm sorry, they were equally not mesmerizing.
She
at
was
all.
way less
They
mesmerizing.
should both be taken off of the list for this effort. They were awful.
The movie was awful.
Everything was awful.
But
Anyways,
they
you
were-
guys disagreed anyways.
They were in it
so-
together.
Yeah, she was not great in this.
So we've got 1 vote for Ellen Burstyn. We got 1 vote for Nick Cage. I wonder who that came from, Jim.
Because he was more.
No,
he was more
wasn't.
mesmerizing.
Wow, they were
Even
they
when
were
they did have scenes together.
And then my vote was for neither.
Yeah, I watched the original before. It was funny. Monique
they
actually
both should
watched
be
both of
kicked
these with
off.
me. But she after watching the first one, the original, she's like, that one was way better than the remake. I'm like, yeah, it was.
No kidding.
Another one of those movies that at the time when it was made, like it's tough to go back and watch some of these movies. Apparently Murray's proof of that, not seeing our chainsaw wielding maniac. But The Wicker Man, when it first came out, was a shock, man. Like it was just,
Yep.
it was a shock. You watch it now, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it was. And we know where Midsommar stole all those ideas from.
So they stole a lot of ideas from it and made it better.
No, they made it meh.
Oh, did they make it better?
No, they didn't.
I think they made it better.
They made it meh.
I'm pretty sure they made
They
it better.
made it meh.
I think they made it Mondo.
Meh. They made it meh.
It's summer.
Meh.
It should be called Mid-Mondo.
Should be called mid-mare. I guess that's all we need for the list this week. Maybe Murray will have something for us for
Yeah, I
next
didn't do
week.
it. We had 7 movies this week. I didn't have time to do it.
Yeah, we had a lot of movies. This is a.
Yeah.
This might be a 5-hour episode.
I think we're in
It is.
hour 6.
Let's talk about another
as we
6.
speak.
Let's talk about another 6 movies then.
Yeah, really. All right, last week on Rage or Dare, Bryce was dared to see the torturous film by one of the most repulsive actresses ever when he pulled Pretty Woman. No Pretty Woman. No, sorry, it was Pretty Woman. And I'm sure there must have been love, but it's over now. This week, Jim will pull the last nugget from Bryce's bag of gold rage.
Yeah, I saved one for him.
I see
Nice.
there's one left.
I didn't refill the bag just so that
No.
he
He
could
has to
that
take this movie.
The bag is empty.
Except for one.
Let's check with Bryce and see if he finds Julia as repulsive as the rest of the Film Rage crew finds her, or is she in the same camp as his other love, Ben Affleck, aka also repulsive.
Yeah, I don't understand what the great actor Ben Affleck has to do with anything.
Well, I think what Murray and I are trying to say, even though Murray's using my words, is that Julia Roberts is repulsive, and so is Ben Affleck.
Oh. Okay.
And if it wasn't for
I
you,
don't
they'd be on our
understand any of
repulsive list.
So,
Is all I want to say.
Ben Affleck, finest actor of ours or any other generation. Mm-hmm. But let's get back on topic.
Julia Roberts.
Pretty Woman, starring Richard Gere and Julia Roberts, was a romantic comedy from 1990. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah, thank God.
That is
It
the
was-
year I first saw it, as it was part of a double feature as part of a sneak preview. Do you remember those? They were great. You got to go to a movie a
Night
week.
before it opened.
A week before
week.
it came out.
Yes.
Plus, you got to stay for the regularly scheduled feature in that theater for free. You got 2-for-1 action. 2 movies for the price of one. I remember at the time I thought the film was meh.
Okay, but what was the other movie? Because I'm more interested in what that one was.
I don't remember.
Was it made also?
I think it might have been the replacements with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, there
but
we
that
go.
might-
So
might
it was
not have
Mondo.
been.
It was Mondo.
Might not
So it
have
was
been.
Mondo, and then
Was that
okay,
1990? If it was,
No,
it
that
was.
was after that.
Was it okay?
okay. So did this hold up in the what is that?
So
20, 30 years
flash forward 32 years, and I was able to watch it for a second time thanks to Jim.
later with new eyes.
The performances are good. And I can see glimpses of why Julia Roberts parlayed this performance into a career that has spanned decades.
But can you see why Murray and I think she's repulsive?
She is very likable in this film. She really is. Hector Elizondo also pops up and provides heart to the story. The ending seems a little rushed, a little too sugary for my taste. But whatevs. It wasn't great, but it also wasn't awful. It was a breezy and watchable meh.
I don't know how you like these movies.
It
It
was fine.
He can find like the smallest flaw in a movie that has some form of complexity, but you put like a romance movie in front of him and he goes back to his 12-year-old girl.
Goo-goo, yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
There was only one thing I liked about this whole movie, and that was the song.
there wasn't one thing in this entire movie because see, when I saw this originally, I was an adult and it was awful.
I was barely an adult.
This is like 50 Shades
And
of
I was a
Ugh.
huge fan of Roxette, so I enjoyed the song.
Yeah.
I was 16 years old.
Yeah, you were looking for
Such a
love
pop-
under
And-
the under the
Right.
balcony.
It was all right. Wasn't
He's
terrible.
still an adolescent.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's still all right. It's not terrible. It's meh.
Yeah, well, we'll see if what you pick for me is even close to that.
Oh.
Because if you would have put Pretty Woman in my bag, wait a minute, is this Pretty Woman?
It's pretty. No, it's not.
If you put Pretty Woman in my bag, The Prince and Me?
Yes.
Haven't I seen this already?
I've heard of it. It's like a fairy tale type movie.
Haven't I seen this already?
No.
Oh no, wait, this isn't the one from the 50s, is it?
No.
The Marilyn Monroe one.
No.
Wasn't that
No,
what it
it's
was called?
Julia Stiles. He forgot how much I love Julia
It's
Stiles.
Julia Stiles.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. It's got all kinds of great people in this. Luke Mabley? I don't know who that is, but he looks cute. Miranda Richardson's in this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Mrs. Lee
Yeah, I can't
Neeson.
wait. It's directed by Martha Coolidge. I can't wait to see this. Didn't she direct Valley Girl?
I think you're gonna like it.
I'm already excited about it.
Yep.
Same director as Valley Girl. Dial me in.
Nice.
The only real rom-com I've ever liked.
Because Nick Cage was in
Because
it.
Nick Cage was in it.
All right then.
I can't wait to see what you have in next week's bag.
I gotta refill it.
Yeah, you,
You
do.
do.
Well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to Extended Film Rage crew and family, and you can find who they are on our show notes. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. Make sure you get your Film Rage award shirts before the award shows and Oscars and junk comes out and stuff. So you can show that your voice means more than theirs. Always. People who liked Uncharted. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for our listeners, so please like and subscribe and comment. And send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage. But no matter what you do, please, please make us rage. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.